Welcome to Wes's full day of sleeping
and napping. Oh, eating.
Right?
After and spitting up.
Did he spit up?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go for a walk. Say hi.
See him?
You want to see Wes?
Yeah.
He's right next to you. You ended up falling asleep at like 10:20, so that was a good hour and 40 minutes nap in the crib with a poop explosion. Wake up. Good job. He honestly really does well with crib naps. Like I put him down at 10:17. He was kind of drowsy. He ended up like waking up, spitting the binky out. He cried for 2 minutes. I was gonna go in there at like minute 4 or 5, but after those 2 minutes, he just kind of put himself to sleep. And now we're here. Time to eat again. We'll have some awake time, and then he'll go down again around 1-ish. You ready to eat? Let's do it. Alright, it's 3 o'clock. He slept for a good 2 hours in his cribby, right?
Yeah.
And now we're gonna feed him again. Oh, big stretch. Cheese, JD. You ready for bed soon?
No.
No. Yeah. That is so cute. All right, let's talk sleep and my tips and all the things. Being a third-time mom, I feel like I've got a good grip on helping our baby sleep better. And that comes from somebody who struggled with their first baby. Kai was probably our hardest baby, like newborn into like the first 5-6 months. I think a big part of why he was harder, outside of just maybe it was a little bit of his demeanor and mood and all that, but we also were not super consistent with what we were doing, like routine-wise, schedule-wise, loose schedule-wise. From the early days, we weren't really setting him up for success as far as how we would respond to him and just being consistent. And if I've learned anything about anything with fitness and nutrition, with sleep for adults, with sleep for babies, we all thrive on consistency, right? You're not going to reach your fitness goals if you're not being consistent with your nutrition or your training on a regular basis. And that doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but consistent in the sense that most of the time you're doing things regularly and just adhering to said program. The same goes for sleep. The same goes for sleep for us as adults as well as our kids. And if we're not implementing consistency for them, they're going to struggle a lot more. So all that to say, I have like 4 things, one of those being consistency, and I'll dive into that a little bit deeper, that we all focus on as a family when it comes to sleep, and that we've already started to implement for baby Wes, who is 6 weeks old. He's still in the newborn phase. You guys saw a lot of his daytime stuff in that video, but overnight now, I typically feed him between 8:30 and 9, somewhere around that point at night, and then put him down to sleep, and he'll sleep until 3:30. I think the other day he went to 4. So a big chunk of sleep. He just started doing that this past week. But these are all things that we've kind of been implementing since really week 2, 3, which is earlier than a lot of people focus on, and honestly is a lot earlier than we did with Cora, but he's already picking it up. So I wanted to share, and as a reminder, I'm not a baby expert. I'm an expert of my babies. Every baby is different. This is not like professional advice. This is literally me just sharing what has worked for our family over the last 6 years of growing 3 babies, and just also prioritizing sleep ourselves as health and fitness coaches and people in the space. So I'm gonna stop yapping. Let's get into it. 4 things that we do to help our kids and ourselves prioritize a restful night of sleep, and most of the time we're all sleeping through the night. Obviously not right now in the newborn phase, but we're sleeping a good portion of the night. Kai has been sleeping through the night since we got more consistent around 5 months. Cora, we started even earlier with all of these things. I wanna say around six weeks, we really started being super consistent, and she slept through the night for the first time around 8 weeks. She made it to like 5:30 in the morning, I believe, and then was consistently sleeping through the night around 3 or 4 months or so, if I'm remembering correctly. But previous to that, she was just waking up once to feed and would go right back down. And this is in no particular order. These are just things that we do. Number 1, we do our best to get outside and get sunlight, sun exposure in the eyeballs first thing in the morning and around sunset, somewhere in that ballpark. Obviously this shifts a little bit depending on the season, depending on when the sun is coming up, but for the most part, when the kids get up, they get up at 7. Kai gets dressed by himself, he goes to the bathroom, we change Cora's diaper, sometimes we'll grab a pouch for her, and we are out the door right after they get up. So we don't eat breakfast first, we don't do anything else until we get our morning walk in. We started this specific routine of the morning walk before anything else regularly when Kai was like probably 4. Previous to that, we get outside a lot as a family, but we didn't start doing it every single morning like this until I was pregnant with Cora, and then when she was born, we started with her basically right away. So just getting outside, it's a quick 10-minute walk. It is nothing crazy. It's not about like getting a workout in. It's literally 10 to 15 minutes max to the end of our road and back. We do it in all weather unless it's like dangerous outside. But rain, shine, we've done it in the snow. But the reason why we do it first thing in the morning and at the end of the day before they go to bed, or whenever sunset is, it helps regulate your circadian rhythm. So it helps your body understand, okay, it's time to wake up. It's gonna spike cortisol in the morning. And that morning sunlight also boosts your serotonin, which later in the day converts to an increase in melatonin. Obviously something that is helpful for getting a good night's sleep. And then the evening walk really just is our like set point as far as transitioning from like our daytime activities to, okay, we're gonna go for our evening walk, start to wind down, get ready for bed, do all of the things to promote better sleep. So it's kind of like that transitional activity that really helps set everybody. It kind of just resets everybody. It's also great because it typically happens during the witching hour of newborn life, of baby life, which if you know, you know. Just the 5 p.m. hour is nuts usually. So we do our best to get outside both morning and night, and I think it truly has helped Wes also just distinguish daytime sleep compared to nighttime sleep. All right, second tip is a quality sleep environment. So my husband and I both sleep in a very dark, cool, quiet room typically. For our kids, we also have they all have sound machines in the room. We just do white noise on a low level throughout the night. That has been helpful in kind of signaling sleep and signaling wake up when we turn it off, but also like if we're putting them down for a nap and their older siblings are screaming or like we're doing stuff out here, it has helped them get restful sleep and not be woken up from their environment, which I think is super helpful. So we have Wes already started on that. We have a sound machine in our room now too. And honestly, I sleep better with the sound machine too, so I'm probably gonna keep it after I move him to his room overnight. But sound machine, we keep it very dark. Both Kai and Cora have blackout curtains in their room, so even when the sun comes up or if they're going to bed and the sun is still up like it is in the summer. Also, the kids' bedrooms don't have overhead lights in them. I don't know if that was like a builder thing done purposely. They just have lamps, which is great for helping them wind down at night if we do have the lights on and it's dark outside. We have an overhead light in our room, but we actually switched out our bedside lamps to have an amber light bulb, and it's just, there's no blue light in it. So it's kind of a warm, cozy vibe. It was weird, I will say, to get used to at first when Josh switched them out, but it really has become like a peaceful thing. Like I switch our lamps on as soon as the sun goes down. We try not to use any overhead lights at night or at the end of the day. And that kind of just helps, again, your body kind of prepared to wind down, get ready for bed. I also think that has been super helpful with Wes when he wakes up overnight. Like I'm not turning on any lights. I use that red light to feed him, and there's no TV in our room. Like it is very peaceful and dark, and kind of has helped, and I think that has helped him again distinguish nighttime sleep versus daytime naps, because he'll just wake up to eat and go right back to sleep. Like it's just, we keep the sound machine going. It's very dark and peaceful in our room. It also stays cool in all of our rooms, so temperature is a big thing if it's too hot. I think like the ideal temperature for sleep for adults is around like, probably for kids too, but around like 67 degrees, and that's typically where we keep our thermostat, at least in our bedrooms, year round. Number 3, we are very active throughout the day, and we do our best to limit screen time. Josh and I don't really watch a lot of TV as it is. We don't watch the news on TV. We literally don't have the TV on until nighttime if we are gonna watch a show. So this TV stays off all day. Unless we have a meeting that we both have to be on, which is once a week on Fridays, I'll pop it on for Cora just so that she can chill and have a snack and watch a show while we're both on the meeting for work. But other than that, this TV stays off until nighttime. During the week, weekends are a little bit more flexible, like if it's a rainy weekend. But now that spring and summer is here, we are typically outside as much as possible throughout the day, and the TV really is only on at night, like around dinner time. Kai and Cora have about like 30 minutes of screen time at the end of the day, and other than that, they're not on screens at all. We don't have tablets. We only use the iPad for when we're traveling on an airplane. Like they don't have their own tablets or anything. Kai has a Nintendo Switch that he'll play, and he's only allowed to play for a little bit on a Saturday or Sunday, but during the week, we're pretty strict about not turning the TV on or doing our best to not turn the TV on. So lots of activity. It just keeps everybody happier. Again, all of the benefits we know that help us helps our kids too. So that would be tip number 3. And then my last tip is kind of what I mentioned in the beginning of this video about consistency. So having consistent wake time and bedtimes for all of our kids and ourselves. Even on the weekends, we are always up by 7. Lately, Kai's been waking up on his own, and he'll get dressed and like chill and do his thing, which is fine. He's almost 6 and he's pretty independent, but Cora, we typically have to wake up at 7. Wes, I'll wake him up by 7 if he did not have an earlier feed that day. It just keeps everybody on that same kind of schedule, which again can help your circadian rhythm. It helps you fall asleep faster. Inconsistency with their bedtimes will lead to just not as great sleep. They'll be in a terrible mood the next day. So that is a high priority for our family. I know it's not possible in every family dynamic, but they're in bed at 7 o'clock. But Cora goes to bed between 6:30 and 7 every single night. Kai goes to bed at 7:30 every single night. And Wes, again, we're kind of in the newborn phase, but for the last few weeks, I feed him between 8:30 and 9. And as he gets older, that time will get earlier. And then as far as like just daytime naps and stuff, I try to keep it consistent as far as like how I'm putting him down. So as you guys saw, I'll typically turn on the sound machine, put him in his sleep sack, give him his binky, rub his belly for a second, and then I'll just let him kind of put himself to sleep. That is something we started doing, again, like I said, at like week 3-ish or so. And he's been pretty good about putting himself to sleep. There are days where he cries for a little bit, but I'll just take a pause. I will see if he can figure it out for maybe a minute or two. And then after that, I'll pop in there and I'll either put a binky back in or rub his belly, or if he's really like crying, I'll pick him up and cuddle him for a few minutes. But how I respond, I have found, has been super helpful as far as helping them get consistent with sleep, especially like when you get to the toddler age or a little bit of an older baby. We're very consistent with Cora's bedtime routine of just like, again, turning the sound machine on, putting her in her sleep sack, giving her hugs and cuddles and tickles before bed, giving her 2 stuffed animals that she sleeps with, and we say, "Good night, Cora, I love you, see you in the morning." She'll say, "I love you," and she'll go to sleep. And that's it. So again, every kid is different, but I would say those are the biggest things that we have focused on sleep hygiene wise for everybody. And then with newborns and babies, like there are schedules you can follow and routines you can follow. So as you saw in this video, we do kind of do the eat, play, sleep routine. And the biggest thing with Wes, as he continues to grow and get older, is just making sure that I follow his wake windows accurately. So as they get older, they're obviously awake for longer. I just try to make sure that his wake windows are long enough. They're not too short, they're not too long so that he's overtired. And regardless of how long the naps end up being, we just stick to those wake windows as best as we can. All that to say, let me know if you guys have questions in the comments. I know I tried to cram a lot in this video, but I will continue to show you like as we progress through Wes getting bigger and older and being up for longer. I'll continue to show our routines as much as I can. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. I know there's a lot of like controversy about sleep training and babies and all that, and this is just what works for our family. You don't have to implement it if it doesn't work for you, but I always get questions, so I wanted to share. All right, that's it. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.